The scraps, Anvil Square getting that much more busy. And the only reason why I like that, Levin, is because the chance for chaos with this many teams around, especially at a spot like Anvil, is going to be huge.
Yeah, for sure. I think we know how much of a busybody Cease can be. Always looking, actively searching around. I would love to see them maybe look to refarm over there in Anvil on some of those brick buildings. With the brick that Cease is working with, but go for an alternate choice, and we'll see how much that pays off for them. Coyote G, unfortunately, gonna be on the receiving end of some shots, but of course that Bush paired with the Bush Warrior augment, allow him to get his HP back up.
Refarm as well. A little moment for stability as Costa and Zeus trying to make another sneaky play happen, but the third party just interrupted everything, and they desperately need something. 95 below the damage threshold, zeroing in on an Acorn and Cold, who got their surge early, so they didn't have to worry about it. But you know as well as I do, it doesn't matter if you're above or below. The team that's below has to find the nearest team and begin to pressure, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to take control of these pieces. Acorn and Cold, they see that one coming, and they're spreading themselves out, building extra boxes, giving themselves real estate to work with.
Yeah, and playing the fight patiently, right? Not overstepping, but taking opportunities when they come. We know how much of a threat Cold can be. It's been dubbed one of the best fraggers in this region, this chapter. And a big shot there, connecting to show why. Can he string a couple more of those together is the question.
You can see Acorn taking an additional angle. This is gonna get dangerous. They keep playing into the hand of Cold. You see them taking out the Shockwave Hammer, trying to go up, trying to go over. They don't like this situation. They want more targets to try to go after, not just Acorn and Cold. But as soon as they get in front of them, they realize this is their best opportunity. Shots coming in from Mega in the distance. 141 below the damage threshold. Time is ticking for Zeus and Costa. They have to begin to go forward. Acorn and Cold, no, defense is the strategy. Huge shot's gonna be fired off. Backing down Zeus yet again. They cannot find anything, and you got to give it up to both Acorn and Cold. They're not giving up any inches here in this situation. And there goes Mega. There goes Justice again, playing third party, squandering all their opportunities. Cold even taking part in that one, firing back onto Mega, adding more to her Storm Surge total.
It will look like a simple, contained little box fight between two teams. Becomes a much bigger battle in the story of which one of these will move into the top 10 after this game. See Cold and Acorn just biding their time again, not being too overzealous, but I'm sure Cold will look for his opportunity. And for a moment there he thought it came, but the hammer will interrupt that. Nevertheless, he'll hit the shots. That's what Cold does best, and he keeps it moving. Nice and easy done. Things were a bit awkward for a second, Jacob, when Storm Surge started to tick, and they started to hit their shots. Everything pieced together perfectly for that team.
Yeah. You're just down on Surge in a situation like that. You really can't play that same game you've been practicing, and it just gets that much more annoying with third, fourth, fifth parties coming in. And they even stole away one of those eliminations from Cold and Acorn, even though they're going to get all the loot. But you see Kanata and Agers, Jelly Angler, Augment, trying to set themselves up. As Booga and Peterbot, they're trying to make up for lost time. Peterbot's going to go down, but Booga's there to save the day. They both get an elimination each.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see him pick him up. I was worried for a second there when we switched on over and you see Peterbot down, them two in a fight. This is a team you want to be watching. Box office duo, one of the best in the region, and a team that has been low-key doing well today, right? Not necessarily having the craziest pop of games, just being ever so consistent. I'd like to think that one of these games will eventually be the victory royale for them, right? You always expect one to come at some point.
Yeah, that's the dangerous thing about a team like this, is you don't really pay attention to them on the leaderboard. They're not really having those breakout performances, those 100-point games, but they're staying right there neck and neck with a lot of these teams. So exactly what you said, when that pop-off game eventually does come around, you probably see them sneaking away that first place spot as Acorn and Cold trying to work with the angles. They spot out Chubbs. They know Bryce is there as well. And they're so far out on the outskirts as Cold's going to trade some shots, back down, reunite with Acorn. And they don't even really have to peak here in this situation. 861 above. They're just trying to pick and choose their battles.
Yeah, Max brilliantly on Surge. It's an easy game for them if they play it right. And they certainly know how to. The mind of Acorn leading them forward.
Death and Tahi landing over towards Shattered Slabs against Muzz and Degen. Winning those fights more often than not, being in a better position more often than not, as Booga once again stealing away 2 more along with Peterbot. Honestly, this is the type of performance I expected to see with 5 eliminations so far. They're really shaking up the leaderboard, and this is the position that you've seen them in last week. Games number 5, games number 6. They realized they had a top 10 position already clinched up, but you know a team like this, top 10, that means nothing. They want first.
And they can get first if they can recover in this one. This is a very scuffed situation for this duo. Low on materials, low on resources when it comes to their shields and HP. And a bunch of hungry Storm Surge teams all around them. A potential recipe for disaster.
All these teams, man, having to rotate far south. And that's the interesting thing. They're going to be rotating with Booga and Peterbot. That's another one of those teams that they're just waiting for somebody to get caught out in no man's land by themselves.
Pumping trashy though. We saw what they did on height not too long ago, trying to get in here on Clicks and Donny. They were alert though, they don't let it happen, and so they're gonna have to move away. But on the other side, back in their old builds, Yomzo and Rise were waiting. You just see how the dominoes start to line up and fall in these games. One team tries to make a play on another, the other team is waiting for that team to return. It's an endless cycle, a vicious one at that. But fortunately, nobody going down. Players just resetting and looking to get to the zone. Of course, there is a long journey to go. Clicks and Donny looking to maybe run up this mountain. The stairs already there, leading them all the way up. They don't have that hammer, right, Jacob? So things a bit more awkward for them versus some of their adversaries.
Yeah, they got a long journey ahead of them. Without that shockwave hammer, it's going to seem exponentially longer. They have to keep their eye on the prize. Donnie getting tagged up along the way. That's exactly what happens when you're forced to rotate these long zones. Acorn and Cold spotting the team next to him, trying to put that pressure on. Spotting out Aegis on the side. You see Cold waiting, trying to line it up. Firing the shots, narrowly escaped that one. Aegis didn't know what was coming.
Aegis' timing there was impeccable. Because if he had just peeked out for a couple more seconds, half of his HP would have been depleted.
That would have been a perfect opportunity for them to go as well. Clarity and Casters still having great performance throughout this week. Trying to continue it. 103 above the damage threshold, slowly sliding downward. A little bit of a feeling of comfortability knowing you're above, but knowing that your job isn't done just yet, all simultaneously amounts to them trying to find the information, trying to find somebody spotted out, putting some pressure onto Muzz, but quickly gets out of dodge with the shockwave hammer, but Muzz quickly is right back on up. 2 players on 2 different sides, putting that pressure on. Clarity and Caster now know he's a solo, and this is exactly what you're going to see. They're in zone, they're trying to gatekeep him out, continue that pressure on. They know it's only a matter of time before some of these shots sneak through, and down goes Muzz.
Yeah, there's only one thing that's going to happen in that situation, right? You do expect the player to go down. Harry and Casca made that happen rather swiftly. A lot going on in our feed here. Plenty of players going down. He also took down Clicks and Donny before falling to Peterbot himself. What on earth is happening in this game? A lot of our top dogs are big names, all battling out against each other, fighting one another.
And for Clicks and Donnie, it's just kind of shows what happens when you don't have a shockwave hammer. You're stuck to rotate through those far zones as Vert and Walker's just trying to peek through. You know, they can pop off at a moment's notice. This is exactly what you were asking for, Levin. What happened? What kind of madness is this? The trade and downs, Rise is knocked. Diamso trying to fire back. He gets not one, but two. But the powerhouse duo of Booga and Peterbot gets that last lap.
And you think you've done a brilliant job, and then you waltz right into the hands of a very hungry Booga and Peterbot. We talked about how they needed some sort of big refresh. And then just 4 knocked bodies all down there, just waiting, all the loot. I don't think they were able to get all of it because they're still not looking too hot, but at least much better than what we saw before. Pludge and TK might need to be careful of just exactly how they play. If this team decides they want to start fighting them, there's not going to be much they can do about it. Of course, though, waiting for that zone.
I like the switch up, though. Booga and Peterbot downloading their opponents, realizing, updating their game plan to match so. Gotta hope all these other teams are really taking note of their own position. This is the halfway point in the game. Reciprocal and Revised. They're one of the aggressive teams. So that's something dangerous to really watch out for as we inch closer towards this end game. And to really take note, he has the fishing rod, which gotta imagine the Jelly Angler augment could play a huge role in his survival.
Jelly Angler. If the opportunity does arise, of course there is a river there, so worst case scenario, something could happen, but I doubt it. I think he's gonna have to focus on what he has and what he can pick up from players that he might or might not be able to elim. Canada and Ages, though, we've not been talking about them too much. Of course, they were the winners last week and looking to repeat again here today. A double bounce with the Shockwave Hammer towards that front side of the zone. There's a bunch of players who start to follow. An opportunity there almost arose for Canada to completely piece someone up. But he will keep looking and he will look to rejoin Ages. Oh dear, that's not looking too good for Reciprocal. Height completely chopped out. And so it looks like Clarity might actually look to take it. Him and Casca, we know how much they like to play towards it. And exactly what they will do, they will go up. Reciprocal and Revive, so they still are in this game. It's not up in the skies. Clarity and Casca, they currently hold that ground.
4 eliminations, 38 below the damage threshold. That goes to show how much chaos this lobby is really going through. And they find another one on the Reciprocal, probably down on HP. You gotta take what you can get if you're Clarity and Caskers. You gotta imagine when it comes to Storm Surge, that wasn't a lot to add to their total, but 820 above. Booga and Peterbot still holding strong, along with Trashy and Pump, 271. They found Rapid slipping. Serves is there, back to back at that. And it's going to be off to Pump here. He loses Trashy along the way. Now he's stuck as a solo.
Yeah, they're not on height this game, but that doesn't matter. They're still going to hit big shots. Pump, though, has to do it alone. We know that is a possibility. Peterbot is fallen, and so Booga and another solo clutch. We've seen him here many a time, and this is going to be one of the harder ones, down to so little in terms of mats. He only has the wood left, and the Shockwave Hammers, as good as they are, may not be enough to save him. And Cold might find himself in a similar situation as Acorn starts to fall.
You can see what happens while this chaos is going down. Shockwave Hammers, Walker and Vert, they're trying to go up. Clarity and Caskers are going to be high in the sky. Mega and Justice right below them. Up the mountain it goes. Everybody is stuck down low. Revives backside of zone. Narwhal's down. Nexy trying to make miracles happen, just like Cold, who lost Acorn early on. 4 eliminations, finding the siphon just in the nick of time. A huge refresh in mass. He gets himself a sliver, but down goes Cold.
The player count just keeps on dropping. These players are just being suffocated beneath this hill. Anybody who was able to get up earlier, they're able to survive. Pump, he's still in this one. He still needs to connect to something big. For Mega and Justice, they'll be very happy about where they sit right now. They weren't one of the ones that was toppled over. They still are still alive in this game, but the zone will pull back. It's going back down. There's some chance to breathe for all of those players. Not one for Mega, though. Absolutely ripped through by Clarity's pistol. This is exactly what you like to see him doing. Nyx will fall now as well. Clarity is on a tear. 10 eliminations all to himself.
You said it's exactly what you like to see, and if you're Levin the Prophet, it's exactly what you called out early in the game. It's inevitable. It's only a matter of time. Next to the end of the box, he makes it happen against Death. Danger Hero trying to keep him alive, but he finally goes down. Clarity, Casper's dropping down low just enough. They have to refresh all of their resources if they're looking to hold on to this game.
Clarity, the performance of his life right now. That mythic pistol, it is not fair in his hand. Somebody take it away. We can't allow this man to keep on doing this. Anybody that peeks for even half a second just gets all their HP wiped away. Mega and Justice, they're going to have to go huge. They need to jump in a box together and hit some big, big shots if there's any hope for them, unless Big Clarity's going to come and stomp here. He comes, picks down one, looking for another as well. Mega might just have to fall. He's just behind one with wall. Will they catch him? Vert's there as well. They run into each other. Clarity, I can't say it. I have no words. How has he done this? 13 and 14. Clarity G must be stopped. I've not seen a player wipe out a lobby like that in a long, long time, Jacob. This is a whole new level.
If this was a global championship, I can imagine him standing up, looking for Chaos Gaming, saying anything you can do, I can do better. Wow, taking a single game elimination record. I am surprised. Levin, I'm not sure you can be surprised. You prophesized this.
I maybe did, but I didn't even foresee this. How on earth has he just walked through this lobby like that? What are we playing? Is this arena? Is this the FNCS major? He's making it look easy. Look at the shots he's hitting. I said we need to take the mythic pistol away from him. I mean, we cannot allow him to pick up again, or he's just going to keep on providing moments like this. Clarity, and look, props to Casca. Casca's impressed us plenty of times today, but the headlines will all be Clarity G. All alone almost, right? Picking up these limbs.
Casker's just probably sitting there. Great job. Good job. Great one. I'll get it. Don't worry. He's probably just cheering him up. That's a huge role. Kanata said himself in that interview. Having the confidence in your teammate is huge. Clarity and Casker showing what exactly is possible when you just have the teamwork making the dream work.
Hey, look. At least Casker was able to pick up the final one, right? It was like, you know what, Carrie? You put in all the work for this game, and then at the end, bam, I got you. I'm putting my work. We get the victory out at the end of the day. We've seen this team playing for height in so many of these games. They weren't quite able to get it, but here in game 4, putting on one hell of a show.
Yeah, but was it enough? That's the biggest question I'll be asking. Was it enough to take away first place in those leaderboards? Luckily, we have 3 of the best analysts to break it all down.
Okay. I'm gonna freak out, but give me 1 second first. Let me introduce the best taco. She'll be joining us as analyst for the last 3 games of the day. Okay, unpause. Clarity G! Casker! What the heck, man? What an impressive showcase. And this is why I asked the question, like, before this last game. That mythic pistol, man. All these duos are looking to prioritize putting that in their loadout. It just has so much rate of fire. It just does so many things for these players.
It does. Every single player is wanting to prioritize this pistol at the moment. And in game number 3, 8% of the eliminations actually came from pistols, which is the highest number of eliminations or percentage of eliminations from a pistol in NA East FNCS history. So we are seeing pistols being used more than ever. I mean, Taco, this is crazy.
As if making FNCS history wasn't enough. I mean, poor Chaos Gaming. He got to hold the individual elims record for all of 1 match. And then Clarity G just absolutely annihilating the lobby. Kudos to the Mythic Pistol, of course, but also impeccable height take, perfect positioning. And let's not kid ourselves. That zone pull cannot have been more beautiful for Casker and Clarity G. Just watching all of those duos be forcibly wiped alongside of that hill while they just chilled at the top inside of those height layers. But I also have to point out the fact that Clarity G and Casker, I mean, they're dropping down from Breakwater Bay, making that south side rotation, and a lot of these zones have just been on that west side of the map, and these two have really been taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, they really have. And you mentioned the high ground take right there. Absolutely done to perfection from this duo. What I noticed about what they were doing is they were connecting so much. This is an absolute masterclass in how to play high ground. They were just prioritizing connecting. Any build that they can connect to, they were building. They were building the wood onto it, building the brick, building the metal, because we know that the hammers can cause some chaos down below. And if you're not well connected up on high ground, your time up on high ground is over. And they just put on an absolute show as to how to take that and how to hold it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Clarity G's been a long time competitive player, right? This is reminding me of Clarity G from the days of old. I'm not saying you're any bad or anything like that, Clarity G. I'm just saying, hey, I'm great to see you perform like this, my gosh. And of course, Casker, he was there, but I think what Casker did well was he was creating opportunities for Clarity G. He was, you saw it in the last clip there, he was on one wall, forcing both duos to be like, well, this guy's in front of us. And then Clarity G's like, okay. I mean, you know, he's just absolutely insane. Now, take a look at the standings. They're jumping way up there, right? Take a look, 297 points. I mean, I'm looking at you, Walkers. I'm looking at you, Vert. Are you guys going to be the ones that can catch them? Because right now, I don't know.
They're still within that threshold. I mean, 276 placement points so far. Excuse me, in-game points. It's enough for them to play catch-up. And obviously, these teams, they're trying to compete for those placement points because they want to be able to collect the series points. Even if it's close-knit, you still have to appreciate the fact that I think Vert and Walkers have just maintained a lot of composure throughout these later points of the zones. And I think it's especially noticeable because they've been forced into a lot of these low ground positions due to the fact that we've been seeing the duos like Casker and Clarity G taking those opportunities to control high ground. And so the fact that they're still able to work their way seamlessly through those middle ground layers and still find resources in the underground is doing a lot of work for them.
Yeah, they've been really, really consistent today so far as well. They've been able to pick up those placement points where it matters. And Vert here clutching up as a solo. We talked about Walker's clutch as a solo earlier on. They're both pulling each other's weight, and that is exactly what you need to stay up on top here, because especially in this season, there are a lot of situations where you can get hammered out. You can get hammered out of your layer. Things can get a little bit split on the rotate. So being able to clutch up as a solo is absolutely almost more important than ever we've seen in Fortnite, because you can clutch up with a hammer as a solo very easily, but it's more often than not you're left as a solo. So Vert doing very, very well there.
So many duos just absolutely firing on all cylinders right now. This is what we like to see. This is the FNCS. Now, just remember, we have 2 more games.
We do.
I want them all to go like this, please. More pistols in everybody's hands. Mythic pistols, hand them out left and right. More shockwave hammers. Taco, you've been watching. You've been scouting. What do you have for us? What are you hoping to see in the last 2?
Honestly, I've been really impressed with Booga and Peterbot's performance, because out of the top 10 so far, they are one of the only teams that's having to go cross-country each and every single match so far, and yet they're still finding themselves within that top 10.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we talked about their adaptability earlier on. They are being forced to adapt as much as possible at the moment. They have been almost dealt the worst cards possible today in terms of zones, but they're playing them very, very well.
That's right. I want to see more Mythic pistol action. So let's get back to the FNCS.
We're down. 2 more games to go. The last shot some of these guys have to have any trick underneath their sleeve to get whatever points that they can.
Hey, look, if it is the last shot, I know which weapon I want. The Mythic pistol, give it to me, because it is so, so strong. Clarity G cooking up one of the most beautiful performances I think we will see throughout this whole major. I am mightily impressed. I know everybody watching was mightily impressed. The expectation was too high now, right? Like, we saw, you know, Chaos Gaming do this the game prior, game 3. Game 4, Clarity comes out and breaks a record that was literally just set the game before. Will somebody come out now and break the record again? Who knows? Who knows? Expectations too high. Let's stay grounded for a bit, Jacob. A big last 2 games here for these players.
Yeah, and for some of these players, they've really taken that 4th game, the second half, knowing that their backs up against the wall. They took it serious. They've changed things up. You saw Booga and Peterbot get busy early, and this is game number 5. Those chances are out the window. It all or nothing in these last 2.
All or nothing. Who will pick it up? I am still lost for words after what we've just seen in these past 2 games. Incredible individual performances to be highlighted, and hopefully many more on the way. No, don't ruin the fun, Cam. Come on, Cam.
Hey, Casker's
Don't
being
do this
tested
to
right now.
him.
He's being tested right now. Saw Clarity's big game. Casker's getting one at the end, but these are the ones that really matter. Off spawn, the entire tournament in terms of stealing first place on the line. A huge shot from Caskers to Cam. Now the pressure is there. Piece control going over. Caskers edits his way through. Not a ton of resources for Cam to work with. You got to imagine Clarity has not been cleaned up just yet. This is the chance for Caskers to go down and try to get the res, but I think he's forced to separate Cam. This is his chance to try to look for that down body, get the siphon, get the refresh, and plenty to work with.
I'd love to see Casca win this out. He is getting pushed by Cam though, and Cam is not the player you want pushing you, fighting you, but it looks like Casca knows where he is. He can line up the shot. Casca, ice in his veins. When his teammate needed him the most, he pulls up and comes up clutch, and they still have a chance in this one. Wow, brilliantly done.
Seconds, 5 more seconds. That siphon would have came through. He would have been at least able to defend himself. Users taking high ground. The heavy shotgun just laying waste to all these players, forcing them down low. A fight that these guys have been going at it all game long. At the beginning, visuals and scope. The back's up against the wall this time around. Pieces going on over. Huge tack from the side. Scope with a huge angle. Visuals now getting pressured. Forced to back up. Polarized trying to break through. Not finding what he looks for. The trade is going to be there. Down to a 1v1. And Polarized stands tall.
Brilliantly done by Polarized. Big shots had to be hit there against script and visuals, but that's not something he's afraid of by any means. And the revive comes through. Let's take a look though at how he actually got that first one. And the second, using that burst assault rifle. Very, very well, very calm as well. I like it in those sort of close range situations in early spawn fights. It feels very easy to control and you can see exactly how effective it can be. I'm sure you'd rather have a shotgun, but it will work.
For them, anything's better than nothing. But that's that teamwork. His teammate really drained the shields, drained the HP with the heavy. He cleaned him up with well-placed burst shots. And once again, another situation where near seconds from that siphon going through would have kept him alive with a chance to kind of fight back. And you can see a huge switch up again. Peterbot and Booga, they got aggressive early on in that last game, trying to get whatever surge they can work with against Acorn and Cold. But this time around, back to that same game plan they had from game number 1.
Back to basics, back to square one. Will good old faithful pay dividends is the question.
I see Booga and Peterbot. Walkers and Vert. Only 2 duos to finish in top 10 in week 1 that are currently still in the top 10. The 20-something teams that entered in that didn't have that chance last week are really taking opportunity at its finest and capitalizing on making it this far.
I'm happy for them. I'm very happy for them, right? Because for people who don't know, coming into the FNCS Major this season, this team was the favorite in NA. They were the team that had performed the best in the Elite Cups. And they were the team that everyone thought would take the competition by storm, and having a heartbreaking start to the competition in week 1. This is definitely redemption for them. Maybe not quite at the level we saw in the preseason, but still boding very, very well here today. And who knows how these last 2 games will go and shape up the leaderboards. There's still always the opportunity.
Death and Tahi no longer going at it with Muzz and Djinn, trying to find their surge elsewhere, finding a player into the distance. 43, giving away his position. The surge tags are so important for a lot of these teams. Returning fire. Tahi not getting tagged up, but continuously trying to put out the shots. Anything landing there is going to be a huge success. Even if it's just one, take what they can get. They realize this is going to be a little bit of an Eastern pool. Their position is going to be more important than those momentary tags. They continue to look on, and this is some of the action we've seen go down very, very early on. Mega trying to get into the box, making it look easy. Gets a trade on one, and Justice is there to save the day. A little bit of bait and switch coming out.
Nicely done. Of course, we saw this team deep in last game. Doing a great job, just staying alive in really tricky situations, right? That's what you want to see from teams in those moments, right? When the going gets tough, not just falling over, rolling over, making yourself hard to beat. By letting Empen in the feed go down, which is unfortunate for a team who obviously was very impressive only a couple games ago.
Walker, second place. This is worst case scenario in terms of Vert going down, other teams rotating in. If they spot you out as a solo, that could be the end of the run, and that could be the end of the opportunity to take over first place. So his survival here, nothing flashy at all, just hiding, could be instrumental as they continue on the rest of this game. One of the aggressive teams that we see trying to make up for lost time, Revives and Reciprocal quickly take down Trashy, and that's a huge elimination for one of our top competitors.
Yeah, we saw Revives and Reciprocal last game. Their intentions to be a high ground team just didn't quite materialize. They got chopped out. But I'm sure they'll try and run it back this game, and they definitely have the best setup to do so in terms of what they're working with by the way of hammers and shields. Max out on materials as well. If they can just play this game the way they typically do, there's a good chance we'll see them again trying to play for height later down the line.
Jihan and Desi making one of the most exciting plays in quite a long time with the shockwave hammer, showing a various usage of it. Since then, leaving a lot on the table in terms of their placement, in terms of how they've been performing with the last two games. It's their chance to really make up for it. As time 1x, you see them get the 2 eliminations. Chaos Gaming trying to reunite, hold the cover, so that way they can try to get their shields back up. You see, right now they're in a situation to where 132 points, 5th game. If they have that same type of performance where Chaos Gaming had just a few days ago, they can instantly shoot up to the top of the leaderboard. Because you already see them in, with the eliminations, 23 so far, some of the most eliminations in the game.
And I'm sure Chaos is plotting his revenge after Clarity completely stole his thunder, stole his shine by breaking the record he literally had just set a game ago. Imagine finding out you break one of like the craziest records in like your region. It's like next game, one guy just comes through like, ah, nah, it's mine now.
You didn't even get a chance to tell your parents yet.
They didn't even get a chance to tell anybody other than his duo how happy he was.
Not a Nagers. And honestly, this is something I wouldn't say anybody would really expect out of them, but looking at the performance throughout the last 2 days, clutching up to even get this shot here in the finals. I expected that opportunity not to go down the way this has been so far, but there's one of those few teams, Canada, Agers, they can get aggressive, they can pop off at a moment's notice. They just have to kind of find themselves comfortable enough, separated from the rest of the lobby, where they can take a fight against just one other team. Okay.
And looking at the big men here, well, I say big man as Clarity G is down. So right now we're again relying on Casper to come with the goods in this game.
You can kind of see where the zone is. They're going all the way around. They still got more traveling to do, but for Caspers and Clarity, this is a good opportunity with those early game eliminations to really get themselves back into this game, get that second chance at life, especially as the zone continues to pull north. It is going to be the slower side of zone, in theory, at the very minimum.
Yeah, and the boat rotation isn't bad. If you know me, you know I'm a big fan of them. So I'll definitely stand. Hopefully you can both get back in the game though. Of course, we want to see some more Clarity magic.
Brutal Bastion, North Pool, static launch pads. This is going to be a great place for a lot of these teams to kind of move through, not only get their Storm Surge, but get the rotation as well. Aiden and Hound, 78 points. They realize elimination is going to be a must, and a huge find on a pump, taking him down. We saw Trashy get eliminated early on, so that duo is back to the lobby.
Back to the lobby they go. The game is far from over for this duo, Aiden and Hound. We've seen their trials and tribulations throughout today.